listeners to the Hero Whispers. Yours truly here, Jean Marie, your Chief Supergirl and host. And I am so happy that you're here with us today. We have an amazing guest, Miss Kathleen Gauder, and she is Service with a Smile. She is an amazing award-winning customer service account guru. Okay, but we're going to get into that in a little bit. First, I just want to talk a little bit about the show and Supergirls in case we have new people listening to this fabulous podcast. Supergirls is a platform we created to inspire and empower college women to launch from college to life, to help them with tools they need to navigate the real world, like mentoring, networking, career help, whatever it is they need. Help with money management, that's usually a big one too. And we use the podcast to talk to them, hear their story, and other women that are out there in the world, already making it happen and getting their inspiration, like our friend Kathleen that we're going to meet in a few minutes. So that's what we do. We have a group coaching program launching actually in February. I wanted to give a little shout out to that. You can check out the website at supergirls.com. And don't forget 2 L's, the second L for love. That's coming, and that's going to be a live online coaching to help those juniors and seniors that may need a little extra love as they approach the deadline of graduation. So all that being said, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Miss Kathleen. Originally hailing from a farm in rural Ohio, Kathleen Gauder moved to the Big Apple in 2008 to get her master's degree in psychology at City College of New York. Upon graduation, she decided to enter the business world and began her career in media content licensing, eventually getting into tech in 2013 as an account manager at Shutterstock. After winning a few sales awards at Shutterstock, just a few, she moved on to the SaaS and startup space as both an account executive and customer success manager. She is currently account management and customer success consultant who brings order to chaos for high-growth tech startups. When Kathleen isn't managing client needs or enjoying a night of networking, you'll find her at the front row of a concert, browsing an art museum, serenading a karaoke bar, writing a screenplay, or creating music with friends. Kathleen resides in the neighborhood of Bushwick in Brooklyn with her husband, Stefan. Welcome to the show, Kath.
Thanks for having me. Great to be here.
You have so many cool interests. It's like, oh my God. First you meet her and she's like a rock star in business. And then she has all these other things going on. It's like, when do you sleep, sis? Never.
I don't sleep a lot. No.
For real. Oh my gosh. Well, I wanted to bring you onto the show. You have so much to offer these young women. So inspirational. Moving to the big city. You're a sales genius. I mean, if you don't delight the customer, you don't have a business. And so many of our gals want to start out in sales, but they don't really know what that is. So I thought maybe you'd be able to shed a little bit of light on that and how your career kind of progressed.
Yeah, so I actually started my sales career selling Cutco knives, actually right before I graduated from college, and fell in love with it. It was really fun to help people solve problems, and that's really what sales is identifying a problem and helping people with a solution. I mean, that's the long and short of it. It takes a lot of work to get there because there's a lot of research that you have to do, and you have to see if you can actually help them. So, high level, it was an interesting start to my career because of the fact that I had no idea, exactly what I was getting into. But here I am 12 years later with all this experience. So.
Yeah. Hello. You have sales awards. Okay. Let's talk about that. Queenness.
Yeah.
How did you get these awards? I mean, not everyone gets these. That goes into sales and customer success. I mean, it definitely, to get recognized, is a big deal. And Shutterstock is a huge company. So what was your secret sauce behind those?
Oh, well, I think it was, I mean, first and foremost, it was just listening to my clients' needs and really, whenever I was able to provide to them, like offering a solution, really being there, being their friend, being their partner in business, I think is really important for a sales relationship. But for me, it was just setting a strategy. I had an email outreach strategy where I was sort of pitching new products to my customers. That was something that really helped kind of win those awards. But I think also just being there to help clients when they really, really need it is what you need to do in order to become an effective business partner. And I think that trying to see yourself more as a business partner as opposed to a salesperson is important. And I think that is transformative in terms of actually being able to close deals, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's a really great way to think about it as a partner. The salespeople get a bad rap sometimes. So I love the way you position it as solving problems, being a partner. And I want to hear a little bit more about this email outreach strategy because it must have been something interesting, strategic, something the company didn't have already, and it drove results. So how did you come up with that?
So I kind of worked with our content team to really understand what is the content that people really want to see. And then I just started sending outreach on a regular basis to clients that I knew that would be relevant to them. So things that I knew that they would really like to see. And because of that, people got interested. And if people get interested, you pique their interest. That's when sales start to happen. So there were a lot of nights where I stayed a little bit late to send out some of this outreach and to plan strategies around it, but it ended up paying off really, really well. I won a couple of awards. I actually won a camera. I won 2 cameras. Like it ended up, all that extra hard work, it really paid off in the end.
It sounds like it. And now you're moving on and you're consulting for people because they see you as an expert in the space. So good for you. That's congratulations. And
thank you.
You're welcome. So you sent them emails, you sent them information about things that didn't necessarily have to do with the direct sale, and you engaged them. Is that right?
Exactly. So things that I thought that would add value to them. I think that's a really important thing about sales is if you're able to add value to every single conversation, that's when the magic happens. And that's when you start seeing the sales results, but only because you are being hyper-focused on adding value to your clients. If you're not adding value, you're really just wasting everyone's time.
It sounds like you could write a book on this. So I hope you're ready.
Should.
Yeah, I hope you're ready. I mean, it's looking at it from their perspective. It's so interesting. And listeners, the way Kathleen and I met was actually through a client service relationship because she worked for a company that provided the service. It was called Instant Magazine, but it's now called Folion. But anyway, they do content they help you create content for your business, like a marketing platform. She could probably say it a lot better than I am. But she was amazing, I have to say. She was unbelievable in terms of the support she offered. And I was just a little bitty one-person solopreneur getting her help. And she treated me like a queen. I'm just saying. So I got a little taste of that. Thank you for that.
My pleasure.
So you went into sales and solving customers' problems, which is a lot like, okay, I'm putting a parallel to psychology because you made it in psychology. And a lot of times people that have that background are helping people solve other kinds of problems. So what is it that you loved about psychology so much that you pursued it to the max and came to New York City to study in the Big Apple?
Mm-hmm.
What is it that kept your interest?
Yeah, so the thing about psychology is that there's just so much to know about human behavior, and I was fascinated by the courses that I took in my undergrad, and I thought I might want to be a psychologist one day, But really, it was just kind of an academic curiosity to really get to know just the psychological field on a deeper level. I'm really glad that I did it, although it doesn't maybe have a direct impact on what I'm doing at this very point in my career. It definitely made me a much more well-rounded person, and I learned a lot, especially about how to take a concept that's maybe kind of vague, like social interaction, and be able to actually test and study that. There's a lot of testing that we need to do in the business world to really understand effectiveness, and I really credit my psychology degree with that. And why New York City? Well, being from a small town in Ohio, frankly, I just wanted to get out of Ohio, and I just really wanted to move to New York. And I'm so glad that I did, because I learned so much in my master's program, especially when it came to diversity. So I was one of the few they called us European American people in my class, and I learned so much about other cultures. It was an incredible experience that I feel, again, it just made me a better person.
Well, New York's happy to have you, so thanks for joining.
Yeah.
In New York is definitely a better place with Kathleen behind a desk and a computer, for sure, no doubt. But I love what you said about the testing and studying and like the lab. I mean, business we're a bunch of lab rats, right? Trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work every single day. So there is a lot of parallels between psychology and business, and I think it's a great background for that. I mean, one thing I love to tell the women and the girls that I work with, it's like, it doesn't really matter. I mean, your major should be something that you love, because you have to spend so much time studying inside of it, inside, outside, whatever, writing about it, reading about it. You have to love it. And majors are important if you're going to be like, of course, if you're going to go to law school or pre-med or whatever. But if not, the world is your oyster, right? I mean, it's like, you just learn how to think. So I love that you did that. You followed your passion, and look where it brought you. You met your man here too, right? Your lovely Stefan.
I did, yes. Although he's originally from Australia, so
yeah, he's an Aussie.
He is.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Well, he's happier that you're in New York too. So we all are. So, what advice do you have, as being someone who works in tech and works in SaaS, for the gals who want to start in tech, because it's so sexy. It looks so sexy and glamorous, from the outside. You see all these people that are succeeding and making all this money and blah, 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 and startups. What advice would you give them?
Well, I'd say just start, if you have an interest in anything, just start getting to know people in an area, in different areas, to really understand what direction in tech that you want to go, whether it be sales, marketing, product, user experience, design, whatever it is. And you can attend networking events, you can meet people in your alumni network, or people, really just reach out to people on LinkedIn and say, hey, can I buy you a coffee, and just get to know a little bit more about your role. And there's plenty of opportunities for once you're actually in tech itself to actually switch. I know a lot of people who, maybe started working at a tech company, maybe on the operations side, and then eventually moved over to product or UX or something like that. So look for entry-level opportunities as well if you're someone on the newer side. But also I think it's important to talk to and to get mentors who work in tech, because they're going to be able to help you, and it's going to be able to help you sort of understand where you want your career to go, maybe be a little more intentional, but also to potentially, just look for opportunities in the future. There's a lot of power in, having a strong network.
I so agree with that. I think your network is your net worth. So